Obsidian is a type of volcanic glass that has a Mohs hardness of about 5 to 5.5. So it can take a pretty good polish if you just take a few extra steps or have a couple little tricks to use. There's also a lot of different varieties of obsidian, which I think make it particularly fun to tumble polish because you can have a lot of variety all in the bowl together. Here I'm loading up my 10-pound vibratory tumbler bowl with pieces of obsidian that I have either slabbed or I've previously shaped using 60/90 grit in a rotary tumbler. When polishing obsidian, you want at least half of your bowl or barrel to be some sort of cushioning media. I prefer ceramic media, just I find it easier to work with, but plastic media also works.
I put the 220 grit in with the obsidian.
I let this go in 220 for about 2 days before I rinsed everything out. With obsidian, you do want to try to check each piece between the stages because it is more prone to chipping and fracturing during the polishing, tumbling stages. So I like to give everything a quick once over, and I'll remove something that seems particularly sharp or damaged. That way it won't ruin the batch and I can just put it back into stage 1 and reshape it before moving it on.
For the obsidian, I put about 3.5 tablespoons of 500 grit.
I let it go in 500 grit for about, I would say, a day to a day and a half before I rinsed it out. Again, trying to give most things a quick once over before moving them on to the next stage, just to make sure everything is still looking good.
3 tablespoons of 1000, and I use my soft stone protocol for obsidian, so I'm also adding some granulated sugar.
When using sugar, you do sometimes need to add a little extra water just to keep things moving. Otherwise, it can get a little too thick and really slow down the movement a lot. I let this go in 1000 grit for about a day before I dumped it and rinsed it out. I added about 3 tablespoons of polish and about an equal amount of granulated sugar again for the last polish stage. I'm watching it for a few minutes after starting it just to make sure that there's enough water to keep everything moving, and I just add water as needed. I usually let obsidian go for 24 to 48 hours before I pull it and rinse. I typically do a check after about 24 hours. I pull one out of the tumbler, I rinse it off, dry it off, and see if it needs more time. All right, these guys have been rinsed off, dried off, and now they're ready to admire. So first, this one, Snowflake Obsidian Freeform. I feel like it turned out really nicely. It's got great pattern, a nice shine. It does have like a minor imperfection down here, but that goes on the bottom. Well, maybe on the side. But still, it's stunning. It's another piece of Snowflake Obsidian. The pattern on this one is a bit different, but still just beautiful. It's a thick, small slab. Really like that pattern. Here we have Firework Obsidian, or sometimes called Flower Obsidian. It's a slab as well. This always has like pitting in it, at least this chunk. I've never really had flower or this Firework Obsidian polish as well as other obsidians, but it still turned out pretty well minus that pitting. Little piece of silver sheen. That's from this much bigger piece of silver sheen. I mean, that is just crazy silver. This is also a slab. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Just look at some more slabs. This is mahogany obsidian. And actually, I wonder if I can get a flashlight to show how the light shines through this. So you can see the light go right through there. That's a very cool, very neat slab. I think 2 pieces of that. I think this one's my favorite because that is crazy. This I think I bought as a piece of rainbow obsidian. kind of has mahogany obsidian color to it. It's not very rainbowy like the rainbow we think of. Still pretty. It's almost shaped like a cloud, but it's not what I thought I was purchasing. And next we have some spiderweb obsidian. Some great patterns. I love the blue hue to this stuff. Anytime I put it in the shop, it tends to go really quickly. Just so beautiful. The patterns and the colors are just next level. Oops, I put lotion on my hands and now it's getting on the slabs. A few free forms of the spiderweb obsidian. I like this piece because it's all that webbing is just right there. Ah! This piece is cool too though. The thing about spiderweb obsidian, if you're going to work with it, is it does often have pits that are really hard to work out. You'll work out one pit during the first stage and then it'll just reveal a new pit. So that is one annoying thing about this material. It's beautiful, but it almost always has pits in it. You know, I could have tumbled that down to nothing and just a new pit would have been revealed, but it's still really beautiful. A few more pieces of this, small freeform or a large tumble, a few more slabs here. And then I just do have a few smaller tumble sized pieces of that. This larger piece of spider web. More of those pits. You hear my baby getting upset. A minute. Snowflake. These are purchased, I think, as rainbow obsidian, although there's not a ton of flash on these pieces. There's some color in there, but nothing crazy. And I had made these gold sheen obsidian cubes. Look at that shine. Those are beautiful. Love that. Have some Apache tier obsidian. Let me see if I can get light coming through it. I have a few pieces that are see-through like that. Most of this is Apache tier obsidian, but not all of it is translucent like that. This is actually a piece of midnight lace. Look at that. Get the right angle and you can see right through it. Here's another piece of that. What was supposed to be rainbow. Get some nice larger tumbles that took really good shine. Some of these might be lace. Can kind of see through this one a little bit, but not much. Another example of the translucent. That one's really translucent. I think this turned out pretty well. I honestly think this slab being in there and kind of roughing things up because I did not put this through stage one kind of, you know, made the rest a little bit harder to take as good of a shine as I normally get. It's not enough where I'm going to put these back through, but I do need to remind myself in the future just to smooth these edges out. I could have just put this on the flat lap to kind of smooth all that out, and I don't think it would have been a problem then. It also really scraped up the inside edges of my barrel, which is not great. Because then you have the little pieces of plastic you have to deal with that sometimes will adhere to your stone. And it also just makes the barrel get damaged and then it won't last as long. So in the future, I definitely need to make sure I'm grinding these edges down on sharper slabs, particularly obsidian, which is very, very sharp. But all in all, I just think this was a really great batch. And I just love tumbling obsidian and I cannot wait to tumble the next batch. I have some rainbow obsidian coming up and some larger pieces of this gold sheen obsidian that I just cannot wait to work with. So pretty.